We like to get a little audience participation, but before we do that, a special guest in the audience, John Wernke, who plays Lou Gehrig on Bronx Bombers on Broadway. John, great to have you here.
Hey, thanks for having me.
What's it like playing an icon in Lou Gehrig?
Oh my gosh, it's a gift. I mean, that guy was an amazing human being, and hopefully I bring him to life well, you know?
You absolutely do. It's great to have you here. We thank you for being with us. And now the further audience participation as we get some questions from the audience. And let's start over on the left side of the theater. What's your name and what's your question?
Hi, my name is Ray Gillock, and my question is, will Derek Jeter be in the starting lineup for opening day?
Ray, strong out of the gate. Well done. Jack, what do you say?
I want Ray batting leadoff for me, Bob, if I start a team. But, Ray, I'm going to go with an absolute yes that Jeter will be in the starting lineup to begin the season. I actually thought that Jeter would find a way to make it in 2013 into the starting lineup. We were wrong about that, but I think you have reason to believe that with an off season to rehab that ankle, he'll come back stronger, he'll come back better, and I think that he'll be there.
All signs are pointing to Derek Jeter being back in that starting lineup. However, he is still coming off that ankle injury. He hasn't been doing anything in an actual game. So I think until you see him in some spring training games, I don't know that he or the Yankees will be 100% confident, but he's certainly going to make some strides as opposed to last year where he was really struggling to get his legs back under him. So they're counting on it. They're hoping that Derek Jeter is back.
All right. Second question, sir. Go ahead.
I'm Don Spidell from Morris Township, and I was wondering, do you think Derek Jeter would be willing to bat 8th or 9th if it would help the team?
Don, I would say no chance he would be willing to bat 8th or 9th. I mean, Derek Jeter obviously is all about the team, but I think in this lineup that Joe Girardi is going to put together, Derek Jeter's probably going to bat second at least to start the year, and we'll see how that goes. He's not a guy willing to hit down at the bottom of the order. I don't think he'll concede to that. If Joe Girardi has to make a tough decision, he will, but it won't start out that way at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I'm with John. He goes into the season as a guy who has 3,300 career hits. The last time he played a full season, he had 216 hits, hit over 300. Derek Jeter starts the season at the top of the lineup. It's up to him to make sure that he stays there, because I could see as the season evolves, if he's struggling, that Girardi might have to make a tough decision, but Jeter has to make sure that doesn't happen.
And you mentioned Joe Girardi. He's a guy that historically really believes a lot in his players, especially his veteran players. He'll hang with Derek Jeter for quite some time in the event that he would get into something to try to let him work himself out. So I'm with you guys. To start the season, he'll be towards the top of the order. If something happens that he can't get himself out of it, if he gets into a little bit of a slump, it'll be on Joe Girardi whether or not he wants to make that decision.
All right, next question. Back up to the stands. What do you have for us?
My name's Robert Cardillo, and my question is, who do you think are the Yankees' options for third base without Alex Rodriguez?
Well, Meredith, what do you think? I mean, obviously a variety of options, certainly. I've always been of the mind that they could go to spring training, see if maybe a veteran shakes loose, but they seem to be happy with what they have now.
I think they'll continue to look. I think the Yankees are always looking if there's a way that they can upgrade, but they're not going to do anything major at this point in time. Even with all the Alex Rodriguez stuff going on, I don't think anyone here ever thought they were going to go out there and get a long-term third baseman, because don't forget, Alex Rodriguez is owed money in 2015, 16, and 17. So as of now, if nothing changes, he is their guy. So you're looking at maybe a Kelly Johnson playing a little bit of third base, Eduardo Nunez. All those guys that they have as backups right now will contend for some time at third base. And you see Eduardo Nunez right there and Kelly Johnson, both guys that are capable. It's really up to them to see who kind of separates themselves and who finds himself in that starting lineup.
Bob, it doesn't sound like the sexiest option, but you look at that graphic that we just had, a Johnson-Nunez platoon, you can get by with that if you're the Yankees with the other offensive players that they have in their lineup. Johnson is a guy who has shown a lot of pop. You saw the 16 homers in about 400 plate appearances last year. I think at Yankee Stadium, you can even multiply that. I think his swing will fit into that situation. With that platoon, you get 18 to 20 homers, 75 RBIs, and about a 240, 250 batting average. I'm not sure Alex Rodriguez would have been able to do that this year.
Well, I don't know what you guys thought last year, but Eduardo Nunez has had some problems at shortstop. He looked very comfortable to me at third base, so I think he can transition to that position. And the one thing we have to remember, with Brian McCann behind the plate, the Yankees will have a lot more punch offensively behind the plate. You would love to have a third baseman, obviously, to hit the home runs you're talking about, Jack, but they don't necessarily need that. So I think they're going to be fine, whoever they put out there.
I agree. Nunez got better as a fielder at third last year. Yes, sir. What's your question?
My question is, what is the Yankee contingency plan if Teixeira's not ready?
Well, you had a chance to spend time with Mark Teixeira recently. Where's he at in his rehab?
You know what? Chris has the toughest question of the night, Bob, because the contingency plan for the Yankees is there isn't one right now. They need Mark Teixeira to be healthy, to come back, to play 140-plus games. He's a switch hitter. I watched him, Bob, as you said last week. He took 20 swings from both sides of the plate. That's where he is with his rehab right now, but just off a tee. He was working with the trainer, Steve Donahue. When they were done, he said, Steve, it felt perfect. Everything about the wrist feels perfect right now.